Gran Turismo is still currently in theaters as of September 2023. However, is this movie, which is the first of its kind, live up to the hype of the video games? This movie is based off the iconic PlayStation video game series Gran Turismo, which dates back to the 1990s on PlayStation 1. As of now, the gaming franchise is on Gran Turismo 7 for the PlayStation 5, and right now a story is finally on the big screen. This movie is actually based on a true story about how in 2011, a young man named Jan Maddenbro was one of the best to play Gran Turismo 5, and he was so good that he won a time trial competition for the game and ended up earning a racing contract with Nissan. This meant that PlayStation and Nissan believed it could be possible to take a video game driver and put him in the car to compete with real-life professional drivers in a highly competitive setting. There were obviously so many risks involved with this crazy idea from everyone, but crazy ideas like this is how you push the boundaries of greatness forward. Now, I should mention that technically, players of this game and creators of the game don't even call this franchise a video game, but more so call it a racing simulator. And this is due to the realistic techniques and motions based on real life scenarios. And you're probably wondering, although you're probably not, but I'm gonna tell you anyway, am I a fan of this video game franchise? And I'm gonna answer that yes and no. In my mind, yes, because it's a video game, it's very realistic. However, with me, my patience for video games, driving simulators is very low. Once in a while with these racing games, I need to drive reckless. I need to go off-road, whether on purpose or not. Whereas this franchise is so fine-tuned, how you play this game is how they drive in real life. I'm talking about staying in between the lines. This ain't no street racing, right? So you're not really gonna catch me playing this franchise, but more so the franchise that I grew up with. And if you know what I'm talking about, not really the 90s, but early 2000s, the PlayStation 2, I'm talking about Need for Speed Underground. But let's stay focused. In all seriousness, here's why I think PlayStation has potential in filmmaking. Now, I've heard good things about the Uncharted movie and Twisted Metal series, even though I've yet to watch. However, I did watch the Last of Us series, which was amazing, but now this movie is also showing their depth of storytelling and cinematography. Maybe not so much of the storytelling in this particular movie, since it is already a true story, but what I love most about this movie was the cinematography, video editing, and the small cast of a few of my favorite actors. Archie Madekwe plays the main character and real-life driver of Jan Mardenborough, and I've always been a fan of him since watching the Apple TV series See with Jason Momoa. But then you have David Harbour from Stranger Things, who plays a failed former race car driver who eventually becomes Jan's coach and mentor. And then we have Orlando Bloom, who's playing Danny Moore. Now, Danny Moore is the idealistic motorsport executive and the one who had this initial vision to make all this happen. I thought all three had great chemistry and different personalities to complement each other throughout this wild journey that each of them were trying to accomplish in their own way. I know some people might not think the story was all that or probably predictable, but for me, I thought the story was well written. I did think they had pretty good twists and turns, no pun intended, throughout the movie. However, I was misled, and I don't appreciate that. Now, I could be wrong, I might have missed it in the movie, but based on the trailer, the main character says this one line, and I don't know if you guys experienced this before. You might watch a trailer for a movie, you're very excited to come out, and there might be a particular line or a particular scene that you're hoping to see in the movie itself, but then when you watch the movie, they cut it out for some reason. Now, in this movie in particular, let me know if I'm wrong or if I'm hearing things, but I could have sworn that the main character in the trailer, he's talking to his friend on the phone. He's like, who? Like someone's talking shit to him. He's like, who? What? Who? I would dust him in a lap. I would dust him in a lap. Like, he said, I would dust him in a lap. Like, and I forgot to mention, this is set in the United Kingdom. And for those people across the pond, I love their accents. I do. It's way nicer than our accents in America, especially if you're from New York, like me. It's way prettier. So he's like, I would dust him in a lap. I'm like, hold up. Where is this in the movie? I was waiting for this the whole freaking movie. I didn't hear it. So I feel let down. And don't mind me, I'm just projecting once again. But let me know if I missed this, if it was in the movie. I need to go back and rewatch. But what distracted me from this line not being said in the movie was the fast-paced editing style they had throughout the entire movie. You can imagine with racing these type of cars with how quick and exciting the transitions were, along with the very specific sound effects from all the motor features. And what you'll also notice is all the advertising for the game itself throughout the entire movie, which I saw that some reviewers online did have a problem with. And from my perspective, I thought that this was the whole point of the story, since the reason why they were doing this marketing promotion was due to the realism from the game. If this simulation from the video game wasn't so accurate, then I don't think that this driver who's been playing the game would have a chance in hell with competing with these real life drivers. But I could be biased since I do love the PlayStation brand, And since it's a true story, to me it only made sense for them to promote the PlayStation brand throughout the entire movie. But all in all, since this is based on a true story, I'm sure there are plenty of details that were most likely not accurate from the true events, but as a fan of the PlayStation brand like I just mentioned, and racing games in general like Need for Speed Underground, I did have a wonderful time being transported into this visual realm of storytelling. I can attest that some of the side actors could have had better performances, but I still think that the main three actors I mentioned previously did a great job. There was a big part in the story where the main character had to overcome a serious obstacle in his life, and I do think that this was the turning point for me as my viewing experience that really got me over the hump and had major love for this movie.
I would dust him in a lot.
Okay. Don't you like popsicles? What?
I could be one of the very few people that did love this movie, giving it a 10 out of 10. I don't really care if you got beef with that. If you got a problem with that, we could squash it in Need for Speed Underground. We could play right now. I don't care, even if this movie is for Gran Turismo. We playing Underground. Honestly, I haven't even played a Gran Turismo game like that, so I am looking forward to testing out the new game to work on my driving patience, since this is a simulator. But what did you all think about this movie, or do you plan to still check out? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, consider liking it, and if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. This way you can stay updated with more fun reviews uploaded weekly. And thank you so much for watching. I always appreciate it. I'll see you all on the next one. Peace.